Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over the 5 main parts of my short film and kind of just like the pipeline and how it actually worked out and how I could have done it a lot faster if I actually tried. So let's get right into the video. So the first thing that is the most important part of the short film is mostly the storytelling, because that's what actually wins awards. So yeah, it's kind of funny how much that process changed for me, because I started out with a very different story. I just wasn't really satisfied with the story, so I kept changing it. So it actually originally was more about the butterfly than Bob. Obviously, you didn't see a prototype or read the script because I got rid of that a while ago. But that video would have turned out a lot different and a lot worse in my opinion, because he was just going around trying to heal this butterfly that he accidentally hurt, or he didn't even hurt it, he just found it in his garden. So it's a lot different than how it actually turned out, where he's the one doing the damage. And that was the hard part, because I had to stick to a good story. And it wasn't until halfway through the project I actually had a good story down. So it kept changing. And then the second thing, moving on, is world building. And that is a huge thing that makes your film feel really cool or look like shit. And before, I hadn't really taken a step to get into this. I just kind of scratched the surface with the characters. But that's not world building. So for me, world building means incorporating nature as much as you can. I mean, that's just what I wanted to do personally for this film. So what I would do is make everything very vibrant and kind of weave in some trees that look kind of unique, maybe a little bit off. But it's like you want to build everything just a little bit imperfect. Like his mushroom house is actually not symmetrical if you look at it very closely. And that is slightly on accident and slightly on purpose. And also just adding sound effects from nature, and that really helps build the picture. So yeah, and then I have a lot of birds. I overused the birds so hard. Like right here you can hear them, and here they're just, if you listen closely, you'll hear birds like almost every second of the film. Another super important part, moving on, is the characters. So for Bob, I wanted to make him feel really unique, but if you notice, his eyes are a lot different from my previous characters before. No, but actually, he looks a lot like Captain Buff. If you guys are OGs, you know Captain Buff. He looks a lot like Captain Buff. But when their eyes are just pure black, it's way more cartoony, and it makes him kind of feel more innocent, and you kind of feel bad for the character. I don't know, it's just part of character design. It's like a weird thing you don't even think about until you realize you're already thinking about it. You didn't have to cut me off. So that was intentional. I was originally going with much bigger eyes, and then I changed them down to those small little beady black eyes, and it just makes them so much better. And that's another thing, the cute factor. People on TikTok were just absolutely doting on him, and that is an insane part of it, because if people like the character, they'll watch the thing. If people don't like the character, they're not going to watch it. So it's a very important part of it, and it worked out really well. I had one video just blow up. It got 15k views. It was about a spatula video to reach as many people as possible. So please repost this, do whatever you got.
What?
On YouTube, you guys probably don't know what I'm talking about, because that video got 2k views. On TikTok, it got 15k. So that drove so many people at the right time to my project. It was literally the day it released. That video went viral one day before. And then when I just released the film, I had all these people shoveled through TikTok, which was annoying as shit, because TikTok does not let you put links anywhere to get anyone through. So I had to get the people from TikTok to YouTube. And then I was like, fuck it, and I just released it on TikTok, and that also blew up. So I know releasing a 8-minute video on TikTok is pretty funny. Either way, marketing, this isn't a category of the film, but that is a crazy part, and that was so frustrating for me, because I uploaded so much about the project. I mean, in the beginning I was uploading every day, and I just was not hitting the audience. I think I got 50k views. That was in total in the first month. So it was crazy, yeah. But then I didn't really hit the right group of people until the very end. Then I just had comments flooding in. There was this one day I was sick, and I was just reading comments all day. There were so many people interested in the project, and so that's what really made a difference in the end. So it probably wouldn't do well just uploading on YouTube. I looked at the search results. Most of those, it's 90% of the views on that video are from search. Isn't that insane? Actually, no, I don't think that's true. I think it's 70%. But then Like, YouTube showed it to people and only a few people clicked on it, and then later on a ton of people clicked on it. So that's the marketing part of the video, which isn't really a category, but it's definitely something you need to think about when you're making a short film. This was probably the most fun part for me. The voice acting, dude, me and my friend Vincent, we had a blast. We just fucked around, I'm not gonna lie. I don't actually have that much videos of it, but I'll play some of the stuff that we did record. And then I have my dad, who is very good at voice acting, say some stuff. The only problem was I needed to re-record stuff later on, and he just couldn't get the same voice.
I haven't heard from anyone for some time now.
And then I had my friend Colin, bro. He low-key cooked up so hard, bro. I'm like, bro, I need some music for my short film, bro. And he's like, oh, I got you, bro. And then he sent me some clips, and I'm like, bro, how did you make this stuff? Like, it's like genuinely sounds so professional. And I'm like, bro, I paid him up, and he gave me like so many things. There's like so many songs that we didn't even use because it's an 8-minute short film. Like, but I picked the best of the best to put in the film, and it really did turn out good. He's really talented. But yeah, so that was insane. And then plus the sound effects from just going outside. I made a couple videos on that, and just like squeezing lemons. That like added so much. Small details that just made the entire thing. And then, of course, the animation. This is the most important part. And the thing is, for this project, I completely switched it up because I actually started using a new platform called Dragon Frame, which is like the top of the top for stop motion. And yeah, it was a lot different and a lot to get used to, but I learned it pretty fast, I would say. And then, so once I had this new software, I started getting a lot better because previously on the camera, I could flip through the photos, but at like 6 frames per second or something. So I never really saw the animation at the right speed until I got it onto the iPad, which would be a very pleasant surprise or a very unpleasant surprise where I have to redo the entire thing because it looks like shit. But with this thing right here, you can just switch in between the frames and you can play it. You can do it at slower speed. You can do literally everything to manipulate the frames. Oh, that's really cool. I just realized you could type with it. Okay, either way. So yeah, it was a lot different. It definitely made the difference in the film. So yeah, for animation, I just learned so much about cameras. And when you adjust your ISO a lot lower, it makes the image look so much more crisp, and it's not grainy. If you have a high ISO, your image will turn out super grainy, and it just looks like shit. I don't know, something about it. You like zoom in, it looks almost like pixeled, but it didn't look right. So I adjusted that, and it worked a lot better. So I learned so much about cameras. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but if you look at my old projects versus this one, for the animation, I actually did something a lot different, and that is walking animations. Sounds crazy, right? I mean, just a walking animation, but you would be surprised by how challenging it actually is to do like a successful full body walking animation with stop motion, because you have to have some sort of rig to make them stand up. Otherwise, you're just praying at this point, bro. Like, if you're trying to balance a full, like an armature, you are just cooked. You cannot do it. You need to have some sort of stick in the back. So I'm actually going to upload a video soon on best ways to do walking animations, because god damn, I hate them. And you have to do them just to, like, you just have to do them. So in the past, I went so far out of my way just to make sure that I wasn't doing walking animations. So what I would do is I would have like a character that was wearing like a doctor's robe, and they would just glide over the ground because you don't see their feet, it's under a robe, right? So that was one of the hacks I used. But there's so many hacks I've used over the years. And for this film in general, I would just show their feet. All you gotta do is just show their feet. FBI, open up! Which, wait. You know what I mean. And another thing that was so different was the entire pipeline for the audio recording, like the dialogue. I just completely changed it, because before I used to always have my animations first, and then the voice actors would have to go over afterwards in like some sort of recording studio, and they would have to I would actually just do it in my editor. So I used some weird ass software, but I would basically make them record to the stop motion. So they would have to sync their mouth movements with the stop motion instead of the other way around. And then when I finally learned that most traditional stop motion companies, or any animation companies for that matter, they actually do it the other way around. They record the audio first. I was like, what the heck? How do they do that? Doesn't that make it hard for the animators? And so I was like, wow. So instead on this film, I switched it around and made it hard for me. So come on, I put in the work, you know?
What?
It was insane, and I did a whole video on it, so I'm not going to go too much into it, but that's the thing. I changed the complete pipeline, and I also specified the mouth move to the exact syllable they're saying. Bro, it was a lot of work. Okay, and so that is probably one of the biggest changes that I made in this film. And then, now that I finished the film, you gotta always ask that question, what would you have done differently? And honestly, I just would say I would stop playing so much Minecraft and I would lock the fuck in on the film. Because there were so many days where I could have got so much work done. I could have finished this film in December. I'm just gonna say it. Like, I mean, actually, I didn't even have the script done in December. I could have finished it in January if I'd actually locked in. If I'd done, like, a couple hours a day, every day, I would have definitely finished it. But there were some days where I would work, like, the entire day, and some days I just wouldn't work on it. So that's a problem, and for future projects, I just need to lock in that motivation. But you know how it is. Sometimes you just don't feel like it. You know, I'll do it tomorrow, you know. So that's what I would have done differently. But I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of everything in the film. Obviously, I can do a more in-depth one if you guys enjoy this video. But I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm going to be pumping out a lot more videos because I'm on spring break, bro. I'm on spring break. I'll see you guys in the next video.